Dear students, welcome to the session of remote sensing and GIS. So today you can see here that the presentation background says that what are the sensors and how it are they going. So we are going today to discuss about the sensors, understanding of sensors and energy interaction with atmosphere, which is very important to understand. Let's see what is sensor and how energy interact with atmosphere. Yes, this is very familiar term you have come through, that is active sensors. What do you mean by active sensors? You can see here the sensor is sending the information and we are taking the information back from the earth. So sensor is working as active sensor. It is only providing the energy, electromagnetic radiation, and we are getting the information. That is known as active sensors, right? Active remote sensing uses artificial source of energy, right? We all know that the sensor itself sends the energy and we are getting the energy back. Satellite itself can send the pulse of energy which can interact with the target. It can be carried out day and night and in all the conditions. Active sensors are very useful if you want to work in all the conditions. Now see, the light source. You can see the light is sent and that light is written back into the sensor itself. This is known as active sensors, right? So you can think of active sensors like handheld camera with flash turn on. Yes, when we turn on the flashlight, we get the and we capture the image, and that is handheld camera, which is known as and working in the principle of active sensors, right? Let's say in detail about the passive sensors. Passive sensors in that source of sun is the main energy which sends the rays to the target and that will be coming back again to the sensor. That is known as passive remote sensing, right? So passive remote sensing depends on a natural source to provide the energy. Sun is the most powerful source of energy and very commonly used, right? You can see here light source is going, that is the sunlight, and that is coming back to the sensor, right? So passive sensor uses natural emitted light from sun. Without the sun they wouldn't be have passive remote sensing, right? So this is known as passive sensors. When we make the sensors for any feature extraction, that is depending on we need to make an active sensor or passive sensor. We used to decide that what type of sensor it should be. It should be working whole day and night, then we are going to take it as an active sensor. If it should be working only in the presence of sun, then it will be the passive sensors. So according to the feature extraction, we will be saying what is feature I am talking about. On the earth I want to take the feature and examples of only the vegetation, then it will be working accordingly, right? That is feature extraction. Now this is passive sensors and active sensor. There are a number of sensors which are depending on the fundamental of active and passive only. We have microwave sensors, we have hyperspectral sensors, right? According to what we required we make the sensors, but two main type are passive and active. Don't miscommunicate between passive and active. Active has its own energy and passive has the source of energy, that is sun, right? Phenomena related with the atmosphere. Let's discuss this in detail. Energy interaction with atmosphere. The very first thing happens is absorption, scattering, reflection, refraction. We are going to study all this thing in detail. Now, you are aware of the terms of reflection, refraction, absorption in the physics you have studied in school days, right? Incoming solar radiation, that is transmission, that is reflected. Other is refracted. It will be traveling from one medium to other medium. It will travel from one medium, that is refracted. Absorption, it will be absorbed by the source object itself. And last is scattering, top of the atmosphere, which is known as scattering, right? So this is the phenomena related with atmosphere. So particle and gases in the atmosphere can affect the incoming light and radiation. This play a very major role when I want to take an image from the space, right? Let's discuss that in detail. The very first process we are going to discuss here is about the scattering process, right? Let's see, there are specially four types of scattering. You can see here relay, me, non-selective, right? So these are the scatterings which are very known, and to be known then only we can make it out that how scattering takes place. The first one you can see here is about the scattering process. When rays coming from the source of energy, it will scattered before entering to the target, before interacting with the target. So scattering occurs when particles or large gas molecules present in the atmosphere interact with and causes the electromagnetic radiation to redirect, right? It will redirect from its original position. That is known as scattering. The image which I have shown, right? It depends on the wavelength of radiation, abundance of particle, gases present in the atmosphere, and distance traveled through the atmosphere. This is known as scattering, the redirection of radiation from its original path. Remember in a simple way. Now, the very first is relay scatter. See, the relay scatter is all the ways it is been generally distributed, right? It is not haphazard. Let's see that in detail. Relay scattering occurs when particles are very small comparison to the wavelength, right? It causes shorter wavelength of energy. This could be the particles such as small speck, dust, nitrogen, or oxygen molecules, right? So it is very small compared to the wavelength of radiation. It causes shorter wavelength of energy to be scattered much more than longer, right? So in electromagnetic radiation, when we have a shorter wavelength made of electromagnetic, then it will be distracted more. It occurs in the upper portion of the atmosphere. It occurs in the upper portion of the atmosphere. Now, coming to the me scattering. Look at this. What is me scattering? Look at the image you can see, right? Let's discuss that in detail. It occurs when the wavelength of electromagnetic is similar to the size of atmospheric particle. Dust, pollen, smoke, water vapor are the common cause of me scattering, right? Which tends to affect longer wavelength. Which tends to affect what? Longer wavelength. It occurs where? It occurs in the lower portion of the atmosphere. So this is known as me scattering. We are going to discuss other one which is known as non-selective scattering when particles are much larger than wavelength of radiation. So now, can you make yourself clear what actually scattering means or not? Or should I give you a brief example and brief explanation towards that? Now, the very basic scattering means what? Energy is scattered from its original path. We have discussed about relay one. The relay says what? When the particle size are smaller than the wavelength. When wavelength is traveling but particle size are smaller, then much more data is not redirected, right? It will be just passing through it and energy will be stored. That is relay. When we talk about the me scattering, when wavelength of electromagnetic is similar to the atmospheric particle, right? So we have the layers of atmosphere. When radiation travels from upper layer, lower layer, middle layer, so every layer has some or the other particles present into it. Now, I would like to give you here an example. When we were a kid, and if a sunlight in the afternoon is coming from the window, you can see the particles are seen, the dust particles are seen. What that? Is that a scattering? Yes, remember that thing? The scattering particles are seen. When the sunlight is coming towards our room, you can see the small particles are around that. That is the scattering. The energy is being redirected, but it is not affecting because wavelength is more than the particle size, right? So it is not much affected. So this is about non-selective scattering occurs, and this is of is more of larger wavelength. So atmosphere consists so numbers of particles, and that is why scattering process occurs. And then we are going to see more about what that energy interaction with atmosphere in the absorption process, in the reflection and the refraction process. I guess student, you are very much clear with this phenomena that is known as absorption, refraction, reflection, and you have right now seen that how is energy traveling. Scattering is very important, and it is very common. You have also heard that before, it is not new. So you all know that what is scattering, because in physics also you have heard about the word scattering, right? So when we are collecting the data from the sensor, scattering characteristic is very important. When we have discussed about the components of remote sensing in the previous session, during that time I said that energy is interacted with the earth feature, then radiations are stored into the sensor. During that period also we need to see why, because energy is interacted with what first? Atmosphere. Again, after interacting with feature, it will interacting with what? Atmosphere. So energy should not be scattered. If more energy is scattered, then less information we are getting. So we need to see that energy should not scatter. And accordingly, we are making the sensors of different wavelengths. Now you get why electromagnetic is important for our remote sensing subject, for our remote sensors, that have to make the remote sensor with the help of wavelength, and how to decide that how to make the wavelength, right? The sensors are made according to the research and analysis. This is how energy interact with the atmosphere. So less minimum energy should be emitted and should be distracted, right? Even though it is a sun energy which is sent to for the interaction with the target, and then it is stored in the satellite or in the sensor. So we need to check about all this. So according to what I said of the research and the feature analysis of any feature on the earth, at that moment we are taking that which wavelength should be decided for the sensor making. This is how ISRO is making the various sensors of different wavelength, and we are trialing and we are taking the information and we are doing the research and analysis. And according to that, we are improving our remote sensing facilities, and then we are trying new ventures into it, because this is the best technology we can use to detect much more information which cannot even be seen or felt by our eyes, but can be detected on electromagnetic radiation, right? Because it is what we are dealing with, the particle size, and that is why it is helpful. So I guess you are clear with simple terminologies. In the next session we are going to discuss about the reflection and refraction process, and we are going to see that how energy interact with the earth feature, right? So from the components of remote sensing, principles of remote sensing, this topic is very important, and all are into the continuation of it. Thank you.